right. I've been riding a little bit with the FMF pipe. It's definitely a lot better. It's not as droning. It's not really like I got a droning. I'm sorry, I'm not really coming up with the right terms here, but it's a lot less intense noise coming out of it. It sounds good. It gives a nice pop to it, but without being extremely loud. And the other pipe wasn't extremely loud, but it was definitely quite a few decibels louder than this. And this pipe is this exhaust system is a little bit larger, which helps it expand out a little bit more. I think giving it a little bit less noise coming out of it, which makes it, you know, you're going to get that little more mellow noise out of it, which is exactly what I was looking for without, you know, sounding ridiculously quiet. I mean, I don't want, I like a little noise, and loud pipes save lives. I'm a big fan of that, but I don't want to annoy the living hell out of everybody I pass, and that's kind of how I feel this pipe is doing, and it feels better. I don't have a programmer on this, and it feels good. It feels like I got good power out of it. I feel gives it a little bit more torque to it, and I think the noise makes a big difference. The other pipe was so loud, I think I tried to keep it a little bit lower in the RPM range, and it kind of made it feel like I was bogging out a little bit more. With this one, I'm not at all having an issue keeping it in a little higher RPM range without as much noise. It may be also a little bit more torqueier. Again, I wasn't running a programmer. That's a big issue with a lot of these pipes. I mean, Two Brothers kept the stock header pipe, but it was a lot smaller can, so it probably had a little less restriction in it. But that, you know, as far as comparable to the FMF is a larger can, but it's a larger pipe coming into it, so I'm not really sure what the flow rates through them would be for exhaust gases, but I don't really find either one of them to be bad. I just think, depending on how, I don't know if the FMF is more open, but because with better sound deadening abilities because of how large the can is, or if the Two Brothers was actually more open to the noise with less of a can, but more restrictive in the header pipe. I'm not really sure if either one was or not, or if it was either too open for it without a programmer, and maybe it was killing my compression. I don't know what it would be doing. I'm not honestly sure which one was giving me better performance. Without running two bikes side by side, it's kind of hard to compare. I know I'm just kind of tooling around here. I'm not doing anything high performance, but I do feel like I get a little bit more on the grunt on the bottom end, but I'm not really sure what that's from. If it's just because I'm able to bring it a little bit higher up in the RPM range without giving that big bore kind of grunty noise to it, which was just a little bit probably obnoxious to be riding around all the time with it, just, you know, peeving people off. But I don't know, it just feels good. I do really like the exhaust, and as far as a review on both exhausts, I'd say the Two Brothers was nice, a little bit loud, and I don't know if it gave me the performance like this one does, or at least gives me the ability to use the performance of the bike without seeming like I'm always on the gas too hard and being really loud. This exhaust definitely works the way it advertises. In no way, shape, or form am I afraid to drive around like this and think someone's going to actually stop me for it. I have the ability to just cut the throttle, shift up, and just cruise. Sounds reasonably loud, nothing major. I mean, even turning my head, the other one was, you could just, the sound coming out of it was just unbelievable. This one's just not bad at all, and it does give you a little bit of grunt when you give it the gas, and that sounds really cool. And honestly, not in any way, shape, or form gonna worry about this being a problem as I go around. I've seen a lot louder exhaust on other bikes, and they're, you know, depending on where you are, it depends on what you can actually do to your bike. But as far as, if you can see people running no problem with some extra exhaust systems, aftermarket exhaust systems, you're not gonna have a real problem with this. I know I'm doing this kind of two parts. Sorry guys, I didn't really get out yesterday on the bike. It was raining, snow, sleeting, whatever you want to call it. It was cold, and the video became really long. I didn't want to upload longer video than I can. It's just taking forever just to upload. I'm actually out right now while the other video is uploading. You'll probably be up there by now, but it was just kind of how it was working. It's kind of funny that way. I mean, I know it's kind of a strange thing to say, but it's like, you know, I'm actually uploading the other video that's already uploaded as I'm making this film, just as a kind of follow-up on how it sounds. You know, editing is a real pain in the ass on these videos, so I know it sounds, you know, you say one thing, you don't like how it came out, you try it again, and then, you know, something doesn't come right on the other one, so you try to fuse the two together. So editing may look a little funny on that video, I'm not gonna lie, but you know, we'll try to keep, I tried to keep it as best I could. As far as the two brothers going on there, it was no different than what the FMF. If you're asking like, oh, you didn't really show much about how the two brothers goes together, it's simple. There's nothing to it. There's absolutely no real wrong way to put it together. You can, you know, it won't fit if you don't put it only fits one way, that's what I should say. And it's not going to be a problem at all to just slide it on there with everything loose and just tighten everything up on the bike. There's no obstructions. As I said kind of in the video, I may want to move the cables first. The X-up cables, those are going to be probably in the way a little bit, trying to get it on there. Just makes it a little bit simpler, or just tie them back somewhere before you're ready to take them out. You have to get rid of them. They do make a kit port that gets rid of the entire servo without having the light come on. I wasn't really, when I made the first video, paying attention to some of the other stuff I needed. I just knew I could flip on the exhaust without having to do any major modifications, but there is a thing you might want to buy with it. It's about 50, 60 bucks depending on where you get it from. The one I've seen that seems to emulate the best servo, it says, I mean, they're advertising it like this. I've used their products, so I'm going to say, I'm not sponsored by them anyway, but I'm going to say that they're a pretty good product so far for me. Was it 12 O'Clock Labs makes a servo, X-up servo emulator, which basically mimics the servo in every single way possible without actually being there, and you can get rid of that whole hunk of junk, and that servo plugs in. You should look into it, see if you need anything else that goes with it, but I don't think so. I think it runs pretty much as a plug-in device, and it just mimics the servo, gets rid of that whole thing, and you don't have to worry about it. Because right now I just have the servo in there moving around. As I said, it doesn't need any input from anything, it just does its thing, so it shows the position, that's it, I guess, to the computer. And as long as it's moving, it's fine, but it doesn't actually have to actuate anything in the exhaust like with the cables, because that actually has no sensors in, there's no sensors in the exhaust to say that it's open or closed, so you don't have to even worry about it. You can just unplug undo the cables and leave it, and I haven't had really any issues with it, but I do believe it would be a good thing to get rid of regardless, because it is basically like a free-flowing circuit right there, fully open, like just you're not doing anything circuit, and it's a moving part that will wear out, and if you don't use it, you don't need it, you can just plug this in there, and that computer, it is actually a small little circuit kind of computer thing that will actually take care of the whole thing, sending all the proper signals. They say they claim it's one of the best, so you can see for yourself, check them out. 12 O'Clock Labs. Honestly, I have not had any kind of issues with the stuff I have so far. I've been using it quite a bit. I have their 12 O'Clock Labs directional rectifier, which basically sets the blinker rate at one set rate, so you can put your LED lights on there without any issues. And I have the driving lights adapter, so that you can have a 2-wire system driving lights. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, that's just kind of go over it. So I have driving lights up here and directionals on the same light, and that's what pretty much takes care of that. And it's been an awesome little piece of equipment so far, and I really do like it. So hopefully they'll continue to make those products as good as they have, because I have not worried about it since I put it in, and it's just been flawless so far, and I'm glad about that. One thing I can say, I think my editing skills have been improving a little bit. I know I was talking about it earlier, but I do believe, you know, if at some points in time, I do believe you might not even be able to tell that I've done any kind of editing at all. I mean, maybe there's some slight differences. Okay, well, I think I just edited myself onto another bike. This is just crazy here. Well, that's interesting now, isn't it? Well, that's right. We got Medusa out today. It was such a lovely road running day. I had to take Medusa out for a ride. If you haven't noticed, she's a Yamaha FZ8, and she is the 2011 model. First one to come out in the US, if I'm not mistaken. And the only color that came in that year was high gloss black with metallic in the paint that kind of made it pop a little bit, which was really cool. They don't make her anymore. I can tell you how much I like her, but you'd only be able to find a used one if you were interested in them. And that's kind of sad because I think they're a pretty good bike. But the FZ09 took that over, and maybe they're a little bit better bike. I don't know. I really haven't ridden one, so I stick with my lovely Medusa here, and I'll go anywhere with her. We'll probably be taking a Mount Washington trip with her, go up the mountain this year. I've done it every year so far. She's been up twice since I've had her, and it's been a good trip so far. Hopefully this year will be just as much fun. She's got a lot of pep to her compared to the WR, I can tell you that much. She doesn't like the potholes too much, but I would say that with any kind of real street bike. But she handles them well. I mean, it's not bad. Not quite like the Enduro, but we do have some fun. Yeah, she's got some pep to her. Woo! Love this bike. Oh God, I just feel so comfortable on her. She's an upright. If you didn't know much about the FZ8s, but I do recommend if you're not into full street bikes and you don't want a full sport bike, look into the uprights like these. They're sporty, they're fun, they're fast, they're pretty darn comfortable. Obviously you got to kind of fit it to yourself, and if you're looking for something to complement a WR or another type of Enduro dual sport bike, this is going to be one of my choices. Was this. I've had this before I got the WR, but I had the KLR before, and transitioning from the two, it is different, but it's not bad. I do feel a little weird not having ridden her for a while. I've been on the WR, but it felt the same when I went to the WR from this, so it's going to be a little getting used to, but it isn't bad, especially for a road bike. It's very flickable. My tires are a little low right now, which isn't good, but I didn't pump them up before I started it. I was hoping they would heat up a little bit, which they do feel a little bit better, but yeah, she's been sitting for a while. I wanted to get her out and ride and have a little fun with her.